Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Sonny here, and today another global lab patch hit. The good news is they're not done with the class balance yet, so hopefully they'll keep going and get through all the classes this time around. Fingers crossed. But there is some nerfs and everything in here. This patch, once again, will be out next maintenance, April the 10th. And we cover this every Friday at twitch.tv/bprimegaming. We're doing it live. Come and join in for the deep dive. This is going to be the TLDR summary version. So first off, we got some class changes and some nerfs. Heads up, there's no wizard nerfs. Apparently that class is not deserving of insta nerfs like some other classes were, but yeah, maybe next week, right? It's definitely Awakened Wizard seems to be #1 right now. They removed stiffness here on Evasion Blasting Shot for Awakening. And on Why Not, they gave it full super armor and also improved some of the connection stuff here. On Dance of the Wind, movement when using Dance Wind in the air after Why Not technique have been improved to more natural, and then they nerfed the damage. Now, Awakening Ranger PvE damage is really cracked, but it's, from what I can see, Snoof have been showing me some stuff, no stamina whatsoever. So I don't really know how it performs, especially with a place where I have to move. But there's some PvE damage nerfs here. I'm gonna real. I think PA is just nerfing the classes on hardcore, trying to get them in line more or less. Even though there's obviously other things to the game right now. But yeah, Awakening Ranger getting some PvE damage nerfs across the board. For Archer, they're also removing stiffness here for Darkness Digging. However, they are allowing the Ghosts and the BSR version to have that instead. So they're moving it down here on this ability. And we got some Awakening Assassin buffs. Now, it definitely deserves some PvE buffs, but in classic PA style, they are also making these changes that will affect PvP. I don't know how I feel about that one. Improvements smooth with the Dune Sand on Fall Glabs here. Also, the flow condemnation has been changed, movement range been slightly increased, and a cooldown reduction. We also have another cooldown reduction here from 8 to 7 seconds, and the technique has been changed as following. The flow, gluttony, flow condensation skills have been improved to link from the second hit when used. So I'm assuming that's the big hit. Luckily, no warrior nerfs today. Here we have another one. They are removing the 30% crit chance and giving it 20 AP buff for 10 seconds instead, and then added a forward guard. And the effect of increasing critical hit chance when the skill is used has been removed. I don't know if Awakening Hash need crit chance, but it looks like maybe there's another one, but it looks like they removed the crit chance buff here. Then on the Stabbing Fang, they have removed the 20 AP. It was moved up here on the kick. And improved effects of the paralyzed knock, and then gave it a dot instead. The recovery has been moved over to another ability, and this one gets 100 HP, and much deserved, huge, well, solid, let's say that, PvE damage buffs across the board here. Probably like 10 to 20% on Awakening Hash, which honestly, great. Sock Nova is getting some pretty big changes again today. This might actually turn out to be a good PvE class eventually. So they are changing the E-buff. I believe this is the E-buff. Yeah, it's the E-buff, right? So it's going to be a 50 DR buff instead of a 20. Health recovery goes up 1,000 more. They're removing the crit chance buff. However, it also resets the cooldown of Frostbite defense. I believe this is the big wall. I'm sure some of you guys are going to correct me if I'm wrong, but ebuff now resets Frostbite defense as well. On top of that, 12 AP buff on Frost of Snow, cooldown reductions from 9 to 7 seconds, cooldown, 2 seconds cooldown reductions here, attack speed buffs being added, 15% for 5 seconds, also cooldown reductions, Frozen Land, more cooldown reductions, 10% attack speed 5 seconds, has been added, more cooldown, tons of cooldown reductions, HP recovery, attack speed buffs across the board, and also PvE damage. So, yeah, game gonna be happy. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, we have to remember, these are also PvP buffs, right? the cooldown reductions, the attack speeds, all this stuff here, it's super impactful for PvP also. And some PvE damage buffs. I think this might put the class in a spot where it's actually going to be a good PvE class. But we'll find out on Thursday. Next up is Sage. That's right, boys. Both Sock and Awakening Sage is getting some big love. Cooldown reductions here. We get some more cooldown reductions. Damage has been changed to be the same as Great Glabs. Down and air attack has been removed. Damaging, matching Illusionary Department. The time with forward guard is applied has been increased, so longer forward guard on Shackles of Crack. Cooldown increase here. Movement speed changed, added forward guard. And cooldown reductions. Changed how it looks. Nice little Hadouken nuke here. And some very solid PvE damage increases on Sock as well. I think Sock is going to be very nice with PvE now. Next up is Awakening. And Awakening 100% deserves PvE improvements. The stuff it got last time was just not even close to being enough, but I don't know how these these cooldown reductions, it definitely doesn't need PvP buffs, but here we are, right? Increased cooldown reduction on this one here, which I believe don't really get used, and then cooldown reductions on 3 abilities that they spam and use a lot in PvP. Pretty huge, pretty huge. They also added 20 AP on this one here, 20 AP buff. It already had it, but now it has another one. And there was a bug. It was pretty well known in PvP that this ability was bugged. I believe it had 100% accuracy, so it was giga chunking. That's been fixed now. And we got some linkage improvements. Chase the damage during the cooldown has been reduced, and some very good PvE damage buffs here. Hopefully it's enough to make Sethian able to kill bosses as fast as me at the pig cave. Alright, Dracanian, believe it or not, both Sock and Awakening getting some love here as well. Shift F, smooth connection. This could be massive for PvP. One of the best engages, right? And linking into other stuff. Awesome, great to see that. They're adding -15 DP shred on, is this Ominous Slash or whatever? So another one, it has only one ability. And they're buffing the self-heal. Instead of being a 50% cap, it's now 60% and it heals 100 more. Also, the shift Q goes up to 75%. So PvP heal buff. And solid PvE damage increases. I'm not sure there's any PvP buffs here. But again, much needed PvE damage. For Awakening, cooldown reductions and PvE damage buff is the name of the game. There's not that much more to say. Yep, down to 6 seconds. This goes to 12 seconds. And it was like around 10 to 30% damage buffs in PvE for all the Awakening abilities. So hopefully this brings in the line with other classes, but we'll have to wait and see, right? And some bug fixes. That's about it for the class changes. Changing the description on abilities instead of the arrow keys, it says WASD. That's just examples of it. Okay, we finally got the fishing update. One of the 2 fishing updates we're missing, it's the weekly fishing PvP tournament. They're updating the atlas, so you better can see all the fish you have, their achievements on them, and you can see the size of your fish. So you can now, they've improved the measurements of measuring your fish. So now you can see how big your fish is down to the 3rd decimal, which I know for some of you guys out there is needed to have that extra decimal. So yeah, and now you can compare the size of your fish to other people's fish. And you can also see how big your fish is compared to the average fish out there, which of course is great since we're all have and catch fish above average. So anyway, that's there, and they're gonna do a weekly fish PvP tournament where the bigger your fish, the bigger the prize. So you can like do the fishing here. The weekly fishing contest where adventurers compete to see who's the most skilled and lucky fisher is planned to his adventurers. So hopefully you can show off the size of your fish with this weekly, and there's going to be, again, some sort of tournament here for people that are into this stuff. I think that's awesome. I hope that there are some actually cool rewards for this as well. So for the people that want to go out and do active fishing and still feel like it's somewhat worth-ish of their time, right? Great, perfect. This is one of the things I'm excited to see. Finding some Mr. Rapolis content, you know. So that's coming. Also, some system message when you catch a fish has been changed to display the size of the fish up to the 3rd decimal place. Great. For RBF, there's now a super armor icon when you have the protection buff. And for the hardcore server, it is now confirmed. It was in the original patch notes, so it's not really a surprise. But the season will end on April 10th, so next maintenance. That is the end of the pre-season, and we don't have any news about a start of our next season. So it could be a long time. But it's officially ending on Thursday with maintenance. I know it says 9 here, that's because it's the Korean date. And the rewards, depending on your ranking, will be paid out April 17th for us, it will then be. Again, we knew this, but in the original patch note it says like the date is subject to change, but now it's confirmed. This one here is one that I love, a nice little quality of life. All pet items will now have pet in their name, so you can search for pet on the search and find all the pets or items related to pets. So you have example here, the dog is now called a pet and then dog, and also boxes gets pet in front, anything that has to do with pets. Also for the hardcore server, they're like immortal frequency 5 and 10 is being added, I believe. There's also an update to Dark Rift. This is a good one, nothing crazy, but they are making the Dark Rift bosses spawn at a fixed rate. 120 hours after you kill them, so that is 5 days instead of being a random time. So when you go out, you kill all your bosses, well, 5 days later, they will all spawn at the same time. About time. And there's a bit of drop buffs as well. You have the Dark Crack. You get 5 whenever you kill the bosses now. So that's the tokens you get, the guaranteed tokens. You get 5 Dark Cracks. And they've updated the exchangeables. So this will be, updated. It's pretty much the same stuff. I guess there's some gold bars in here. They limited the amount of loot scrolls you can get to 3 per week, but they also reduced the required tokens by 50%. So it's half the cost for the loot scrolls, but it's now limited, which, yeah. And I guess the good stuff here is they added, unfortunately, only a one-time per family, the 3 crystals to rate Mega Rebellious. So now everyone will be able to get 3 Rebellious crystals and a hunter stack. This one here is the 30 mil item, ancient spirit wave, whatever. Yeah, just it's for the Black Star quest. Knowledge changes here for recommended, doesn't really matter. There's a quest here, kills required for the daily monsters blocking the steep path, goes from 5 to 2. Spectre's Energy, that was the name, thanks. The Node War, just like some update, you can see the order participations and some actual ocean quality of life update here. You have the boats, you can now see the HP of the sailors, and you can also click them to display the recovery food. And improvements made so that they're displayed even if you do not have the items required for health recovery, so some quality of life. Also, a button has been added to the crew list to directly purchase the captain's badge. So now you don't even have to open the Pearl shop to spend money. It just lets you do it right from the inventory. You'll love to see it. Bartering information, some quality of life here. The UI has been improved. The refresh barter has been added into the barter UI, and it's also been renamed to just reset. Added UI that guides you in which direction you should navigate for each barter item. They also have the ocean trade category has been added, which only allows you to trade trade routes that can be completed on the Star of Mangoria, and you see these 12 trade routes below. Just the name change, instead of barter refresh, is now called refresh, and clicking it will reset all current categories. For guild missions, you can now check the abandoned guild missions history, and some fix and changes, which is just, yeah, small updates, bug fixes, category, description changes, awkward appearance. But yeah, that's it. Not the craziest, but to be fair, we just had a bunch of absolutely insane, and to me, I'm just super happy to see that they're still doing class balancing, they're still buffing classes that needs in PvE. Surely one day we'll see some nerfs for some oppressive PvP classes, but right now, as things are still ongoing, there's still copium and hopium, but let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you all in the next one.